On page 17, question 6 here, a ray AO which starts with O and passes through a point A. It also passes through a point B like we did. Can you say that, can you name it as OB and Y, and can you write OA or as AO, Y and why not? So this thing I have covered in my previous example. So let's talk about little bit and then proceed to angles. So you have a ray AOA, and it is first question is you have to, can you name it as AB? Yes, of course you can name it at AB because they have same starting point, and B is in the same direction as A because, or you can say that A and B are on the same path. So it is equal to OB, AB, you are right. And in B part, can you write OA and AO? Can you write OA as AO? Why and why not? So you should think about it. Pause the video and think about it and think about the answer and then restart the video. Because you should not copy everything, you should use your mind. So parents, here pause the video and ask your child why OA is different from OA, just to get that if they have understood the concept. So if you have restarted the video, let me tell you that AO is not equal to OA because OA and OA says that O is the starting point and A is somewhere lying in the path of OA, in the path of the ray, and AO says that A is the starting point, which is all the case, and O lies somewhere in the path of the ray. But this is not the case. This is not at all the case. The case is that O is the starting point and A lies somewhere in the path. But this is not the case. So this is not done. They are not equal. So they are not equal because the starting point are not same, and they are not in same path. I mean, the things are different because starting point are not same. So next we'll start with angles. Let's start with angles. How angle is formed? You have one starting point. Say you have this as a starting point, starting ray. You have this starting point and you have this ray. This is just initial ray, you will say, the initial position of the ray. Okay, I mark this marker as initial ray. This is the initial ray, and I move this ray like this. Or should I take a thinner one? I should take a thinner one. So this is my ray, and I move this ray, this ray, which is denoted by this pen, like this, and this I move like this, and starting point is the same, and I move it like this, and starting point remains the same, and I completely rotate and come at this position. Okay, so when you do it, your starting point is this. Now you made this angle here, then you went along the, and you just rotated again, and this angle is again formed. Then you rotated it, and now this angle is formed between initial ray and final ray, and this is the final position. Then this is the angle it is formed, and if starting ray, this is initial ray, initial position of the ray, and I'm taking the final position, and this is the final position. Then if this is the angle formed, and like this, if it goes like this is the angle formed. If the final position is this, starting point remains the same. So if it goes, if it from here, if you move it like this, rotate it like this, then the final position is here. So from here again, if you rotate it like this, then your final position is here. Try yourself, then you will know. And if you rotate it like this again here, then your final position, you make an angle like this. So you take a complete angle, you make a complete angle. So how this is how your angles are formed. And when you talk about, say, this is your initial position, okay, and you rotate itna, this is your final position. मान लो this is your final position of the ray, ठीक है. We are talking about rays because it has starting point and it goes infinitely many from other direction. So this is the final ray. Suppose this is the same ray which is rotated through this, and this is the angle which is formed. So this is the angle which is formed, and this initial point through which the angle is rotated, it is called vortex. It is called vortex. These are the end rays, okay, these are the rays, and this is the amount of turn कि हमने इसको कितना टर्न किया, कितना, हम पूछे how much, the amount of turn and or the size of the angle, है ना. इट इज़ अमाउंट ऑफ टर्न कि हमने इसको कितना टर्न किया है या फिर एंगल का कितना साइज़ है, हमने इसका कितना एंगल का साइज़ लिया, बिकॉज एंगल का साइज़ चेंजेस विद द इनिशियल पोजिशन, इट साइज चेंजेस. सो आपके यहाँ भी हम मेजर करेंगे कि हाउ टू मेजर इट, बट द हाउ द साइंस आर, हाउ द साइज ऑफ द एंगल्स आर चेंजिंग. सो दिस इज़ अबाउट एंगल्स. This is vortices, and these both are called arms. Okay, this is vortex, this is arm. Vortices is the plural of vortex, so this is vortex and these are arms. These two initial and final position of the ray are called arms of the angle. So I hope this is very much clear. Let's talk about the type of angles. Before starting with the types of angles, let us start with how naming the angles. We have a vortex here and two end lines. These are two arms. Then how do we name the angle? We start with any of the passing point. Mark this angle, then a passing point B, then the middle. In middle should be the vortex, always the vortex at which the angle rays started, and then the other passing point where two rays are denoted. So two rays are denoted by B and C, and the vertices is denoted by A. What is another way of writing is we start with this ray point and then A or B. Another way of saying is that, so these are the angle A, sorry. So because angle A has this angle can be denoted by angle A also. So this angle can be denoted by these 3 points. Let's see another example. When you have this one more line here, so this starting point is A, then passing point is these A, B, and different rays are drawn through C, D and B. So what are the angles formed? First angle formed is BAD is formed. Another angle CAD is formed. CAD रख सकते हैं या DAC लिख सकते हैं, यहाँ पर BAD लिख सकते हैं, DAB भी लिख सकते हैं, same है. Then angle BAC is also formed. So we found out कि how many angles can be formed from it. ठीक है. Then my question is angle A equal to angle BAC? Here we said that angle A is equal to BAC, but in this case is angle A equal to angle BAC? Just think about it, pause the video and think about it, and get back to it. My answer is no, they are not same. They are not at all same, because when we say A, we know that which angle we are talking about. But here when we say A, there are lots of angle at A. You have A at A, you have here, and when you don't consider this, then you have this line. Then when you don't consider this, then you have this line. So many lines so many angles lie at A. 3 angles lie at A, where A is the starting point. So we say that these are not equal. No, these are not equal. These are no, angle A is not equal to angle BAC, because angle A, when we write angle A, there is only one angle lies, and we know that which angle is which they are pointing to. When they are angle A here, when we talk about angle A here, we don't know which angle they are talking about. Are they talking about this, or this? Because these 3 angles has same starting point but different rays. So these are all the angles. Let's get back to the exercise. On page number 20. On 19 we have how many, draw the rays here. So with this you can draw many rays and angles, name the vertices. You can do it, you can draw like this. So here you can draw like this angle and the vertices. So you can draw like this, you can take it, and so many are possible here. So you draw it at home and get back to me if you don't get answer. And question 2 says, and here also you have so many angles. One angle is here, vertices is here, one angle is here, vertices is here, one angle is here, vertices is here, another angle is here, vertices is here. So you can draw so many angles here, and you also draw so many angles here. This is just for practicing, and so that you can see everywhere, you can find out how angles are forming, where angles are forming. Just this is the exercise where you can visualize where angles are forming. Label and draw an angle with arms ST and SR. Please do it by yourself because this is very easy. And if you still need answer to it, I will give, just give me in the comment box. Explain why APC cannot be labeled as P. I just explain through this example. This is the same explanation, that because there's so many angles at A, and in this case there's so many angles at A, we don't know which angle they're talking about. There are 3 angles at A, we don't know which angle they're talking about, so we cannot label angle A and APC as same, because AP is just one of the angle at angle P. So name the angles here. I just took an example. So they are pointing to only these 2 angles, this angle and this angle. So this is RTQ and this is RTP. So these are the 2 angles. So let's talk about this question 5. This question 5 says if you draw anything, if you mark any 3 points, how many possible line can you form? Name those lines and write down those lines. And I have talked about it in the previous video, that these are how can you, if you have 2 lines you can draw, if you can mark 2 points, you can always draw a unique line. But if you have 3, if you mark 3 points, then it is not always possible to draw a unique line. So this is about it, and this is homework for you. You have to mark 4 points, label them, and then draw how many lines can be passed through it, how many lines do we get, and how many lines can you pass through these 4 points. So you also have to consider diagonals, and you have to name them, and how many angles can you form, can you name using ABCD, how many form those angles, and write all the angles, then write all them down and make each of them with a curve, as in 2.9 figure. So like this, you have to mark this, like this is an example where you have marked like this. So you mark like this in a quadrilateral. This is a quadrilateral, right? So if you mark any 4 points and you draw lines, and you just mark the angles and write those, name those angles. So this is the answer. If you don't get the answer, if you complete answer of it, please comment, okay, on the video, and I'll give you a good answer on it, complete answer on it. Let's get back to the comparing of angles. Let's do comparing of angles. Let's do comparing of angles using superimposition. So if you have this angle here, and you have another angle here, this is another angle here, this is the starting point here, this is the starting point, these are the 2 arms, and here these are the 2 arms. So if this is the angle you can see, and here is the angle you can see. Now if you see by superimposition, you starting point को आपको मैच करना है और आर्म्स को मैच करना है, ठीक है? तो do you get same angle? No. Here angle of rotation, measure of rotation is smaller, and here in नीचे वाले में angle of rotation is larger. Angle of rotation is smaller, measure of rotation is smaller in the upper one. So this is the smaller angle, this is a smaller angle and this is the larger angle, right? So by superimposition, one is one of the way where you can find out, and another method is using the measurement tool, protractor or compass. You keep a compass here and you measure with the same here. If it is the same, we will do it in our next video. Let us now take exercise of comparison of angles by superimposition. So this is our rectangle, and then draw a line along the fold created, and now you have to name and compare the angles. I have already told you how to name the angles formed by the between the fold and the sides of the folds and the sides of the paper. Make different angles by folding different, so you can fold it differently, and you can just, how can we name it? You, if this is the, say this is the rectangle, you have to name it A, B, C, D, or name any. This is A, B, C, D rectangle, and then you can take the fold as E, F. Then you have to talk about these 4 angles. I already told you that these 4 angles are the, how to name it. So again, just to remind my children, this is not angle E. No, there are many angles at E, so you cannot name as E particularly. It has to be called E, angle A, E, F, and angle B, E, F. Okay, and this angle is not F. This is not at all F, but this is angle CFE and angle DFE. Okay, so this was question 1. Now question 2, you have to determine which angle is greater. So which angle is greater? The angle is greater where rotation is higher. For example, this is the angle formed. So this was the initial angle, and it increases like this. When the this angle measure is small, then we say that angle is smaller than the when measure is greater. So in our case here, angle AOB is the larger angle, is the greatest angle, and XOY angle is this angle which lies inside angle AOB. So measure of rotation of AOB is greater than the measure of rotation of XOY. So AOB is greater. So similarly, all can be done just to see where angle is rotation is greater. Similarly here, XOY and AOB. How do we say that? Say XOY. Here we have to do it by the angle of superimposition, but if we don't do superimposition, how do we solve it? So XOY and AOB. Here we see that this is it, this is X, this is B, this is A, and this is Y. So XOY is this angle and AOB is this angle. So what do you see? That this particular angle is common between them, and this particular XOY, AOY angle is common between them, right? So what do? We just remove the common thing. We just remove the common thing and check which is greater. So AOX is greater, which is a part of angle XOY. So this is the explanation that XOY is greater, because when I take out the common part, we see that the remaining part, I check the remaining part, and we see that this remaining part of AOB is smaller than the angle XOY, therefore XOY is greater. So how do we write it? See, we have to check this, and we remove AOY. Okay, and what do you get here? You get XOA, and here you see BOY, and you see that this is greater. it can be checked that it is greater by superimposition, because now you can check XOA and BOY